Hey everybody, Dr. Joan Ifland here. As you guys know me, I'm the lead editor and author of the textbook on processed food addiction. A lot of times I get questions about the relationship of trauma to processed food addiction. It seems very complicated because the addiction starts at the same time as the trauma. And then people make a very serious mistake to think that they have to resolve the trauma before they can get a hold of the food addiction and put it into remission. It's actually the opposite. So what the trauma does is it does two things. One, it hyperactivates the stress pathway, and the stress pathway in the brain then agitates the addicted neurons. And two, it starts to occur at the same time as the addiction. So people think they're causing, that the trauma causes the addiction. No, I mean, people have had trauma for their whole lives without developing an addiction. So yes, the availability of processed foods at the time of a trauma can encourage the person to start using the addictive processed foods to numb. That happens all the time, and I recognize that clearly. But once that has happened, then the processed foods also activate permanently that stress system. The stress system just goes on red hot alert. Now it's two reasons. One, because there's trauma going on. Two, because that's a chemical reaction to the processed foods. So the truth is that if you get into a really good support group like the Addiction Reset community, and you get to work on the addiction, you get to work on getting those processed foods out of your system, your stress pathway will calm down incredibly, and that will make it 100 times easier to work on the trauma. And then you can, in the Addiction Reset community, we have simple peer support exercises that do promote emotional processing and makes us feel so much calmer about our traumatic pasts. I have a very traumatic past. I was raised by two violent, mean people who looked great on the outside, but they were abusing their children on the inside. So I have gotten my food cleaned up, and it's made it much easier to just work through gently, very, very gently, one after another of the harmful self-beliefs that I have retained from that traumatic growing up. So please, if you think that you just stop. You can't get the negative feelings from the trauma to stop until you've gotten the processed foods out of your system. So first, get the processed foods out of your system. It's a nasty addiction. It's deep-seated, it's deep-rooted, it starts very young, it's a lot of different substances. And then we've got this constant bombardment of stimulation from the food industry. So please consider joining the Addiction Reset community. Go to www.foodaddictionreset.com and take the self-quiz to see if you are experiencing the signs of processed food addiction. Join our Facebook group, Food Addiction Education, and check out our free handouts at Food Addiction Resources. We are here for you. You can also private message me at Facebook. I am the Joan Ifland in Houston, and you can send us an email at gethelp@foodaddictionreset.com. Get help, one word, get help at foodaddictionreset.com. I just so look forward to being with you and making it possible for you to recover from trauma.